Natalia Bonner. Welcome back. I am so excited to be here today and share this really cool border design with you. So before we get started, before I show you how to quilt this design, I do want to tell you just a little bit about what I'm quilting on. So you're going to see as I'm quilting out this border design that there's a quilt in the background. It's actually this awesome one right here. Okay, what is this awesome quilt? So all through the next year, 2022, I am launching this fun new series called Let's Stitch a Year of Quilt Blocks. So on the first Monday of every single month, I am launching a free video tutorial where I'll teach you how to machine quilt one quilt block, starting in January with the Bird of Paradise quilt block. Now, not only am I going to be showing you that, but you guys know I'm crazy and you know that I have to do more. I just love creating and sharing. So also on the first of every single month through 2022, I'm launching a brand new class. So starting in January 1st, we're launching a brand new class called Let's Stitch Bird of Paradise. So it'll be this quilt right here, and I'm going to teach you 12 different ways to machine quilt a Bird of Paradise quilt block. So I really want you just to expand your own machine quilting libraries to realize the sky is the limit. I hope that you will all find just a little bit of inspiration from this awesome series. You can register for all of the classes or any of the classes or stitch-alongs over on our website, peaceandquilt.com. Okay, so a few of the products that I am using though on this fun quilt, I am going to be doing a little bit of marking. I am going to be using the blue Mark Be Gone marker. I'm going to be doing a little bit of misting, so I will be using my misting spray bottle. If you haven't checked these out, you should. They're awesome. They're available on our website. Then I'm going to be using rulers. So I am going to be using both of my mini rulers today, the mini 4-in-1 and the mini inside out machine quilting rulers. The batting that I'm using here is 1 layer of the Quilter's Dream Poly Deluxe. Thread that I'm using on the top is so fine, bottom line on my bobbin. And I do all of my machine quilting on a Gammill 22-inch machine. This is hand-guided quilting. I am stitching in the stitch regulated mode with my stitch length set at 12 stitches per inch. So let's hop over to my machine and let's get stitching. For this design, I am definitely going to do a little bit of marking ahead of time. I like to use the blue Mark Be Gone marker to mark my markings, and then to remove my markings, I like to use the Peace and Quilt misting spray bottle with our misting solution remover. So I do have a YouTube video where I tell you exactly how to do this. I am going to mark out all of the lines evenly spaced 1 inch apart. Now you are going to look at this and wonder, why am I not making my top marking all the way at the top of this quilt? Well, I am quilting this design here on my Bird of Paradise class sample. I have an online class called Let's Stitch a Bird of Paradise where I teach you 12 different ways to machine quilt this really fun quilt block. In fact, this is actually a part of a year-long series where I'm going to be teaching you 12 different quilt blocks in 13 different ways. So definitely hop over to our website, peaceandquilt.com, to check that out. You'll see that I'm marking an increment at the top and bottom 1 inch apart all the way along this border design. Now, because this is a panel that I'm quilting, these outside borders are a little bit larger on the sides of this panel. That's why I have that marking. I am going to cut these borders down after I've quilted this quilt to the size I want. Now, if this were a design that I was quilting and the border went to that marked line, then I would mark my increment 1/4 of an inch in from the outside edge of my quilt. I don't want to cut the edge of this design off with my binding, so make sure you have 1/4 of an inch on the outside of the design. Now I'm ready to begin stitching. I'm using my mini 4-in-1 machine quilting ruler, and you can see that I have one of our Peace and Quilt pop socket ruler grips on the back of my ruler. This helps me just keep my ruler nice and stable. So I am going to stitch curved point-to-point lines using the mini 4-in-1 machine quilting ruler. Because I am stitching on a long arm machine, I do all my quilting on a Gammill 22-inch machine. I start at the left side of my quilt. That's what feels most natural to me. And from there, work across the quilt from left to right. If you're working on a sit-down machine or a domestic type machine, you can go in any direction you want. You can see that as I travel across my border design, then I'll travel along my ditch, either on the outside or on the inside. So this is also acting as a little bit of my stitch in the ditch work. Once I complete all of that stitching, then I'm going to have a fun row of curves, which is a great design. I'll show you another fun way to quilt that here soon. But I want to add a little bit more to this. You know that I love to dress up my designs. So let's grab our mini inside out machine quilting ruler and let's dress this up. Now I find that it's most comfortable for me to hold my ruler on the left side of my foot and work across my quilts from left to right. Therefore, that's why I'm using the mini inside out machine quilting ruler. Because of that, I can continue holding the ruler on the left side. Yes, you could quilt out this design just holding the mini 4-in-1 machine quilting ruler on the opposite side, but for me it just sometimes feels a little bit uncomfortable. So as I'm stitching out this design, you're going to notice that now when I'm stitching my traveling stitch, I'm stitching over the remaining pieces that I had not stitched over in my first pass. So now I'm completing that stitch in the ditch work across the top portion of my quilt as I travel. I'm going to repeat that process using the mini inside out machine quilting ruler until I've worked my way all the way across my quilt. Once I get all the way across my quilt, then I'm going to mist away those marked lines using my Peace and Quilt misting spray bottle, and I'll have a beautiful design. Now before I do go though, I made this border 4 inches. By making it 4 inches, it was the perfect size to use the mini machine quilting rulers. Have a great day, everybody.